Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Queers of Time podcast.
I'm Matt.
I'm James.
I'm Kenny.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast to talk about all the gay stuff in the Wheel of Time.
Because we're gay and we like the Wheel of Time. So as always, shout out to our fellow venator of soaring, Lux. Thank you very much for the support. And also today we have two new patrons actually. So thank you to Brian Olmad and to Alexander for the support. We very much appreciate it. So thank you to the two of you.
Just as a note before we start, we recorded this episode on the day following the WGA's victory in the strike negotiations. We're so proud of all of our friends in the WGA and SAG-AFTRA, who we hope will get just as badass a deal. And we're beyond thrilled at the victory your tireless efforts have won. This episode is dedicated with all of our love to the writers out there. There comes a point in every show's history where it either sinks to the abyss of forgotten television, forever doomed to be an example of what could have been but never was, or it climbs to the heights even optimists couldn't have predicted, steps on the edge of cultural iconography, and takes a leap, soaring to the heavens with wings unbound. Eyes Without Pity, episode 6 of the Wheel of Time's second season, clearly does the latter. By tackling sensitive subject matter with gravitas and respect, by reshuffling character arcs in ways that feel so natural, this episode delivered a gut punch ending that left us reeling, and we're here to talk about it today on the Queers of Time.
There wasn't a single ussy in that. I'm so proud of you.
That was really nice, Matt. That was really good.
Like, not even a punch in the gut ussy. Gut punch ussy.
I wasn't in the joking mood.
There's so many funny things that happen in this episode, though.
Yes.
An abundance of them, some might say.
There's a lot of ussy. There's a lot of ussy. Fodder for ussies and bussies and bringing boys to the yard with milkshakes. But, I figured, just to treat the big part of this episode with a bit of respect.
No, I'm gonna be honest. I read your intro right before we started the recording. I was like, oh yeah, Matt really is a writer. He knows how to use his words.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot.
So, as for all of the episodes before, we're gonna start with the first part with no book spoilers at all. I have no idea how long this part is going to be because we have a lot to say about this episode. After that, we're going to switch to something with book spoilers. So if you have not read the books, you probably will have to stop there. And I also have no idea how long it's going to take because I also have no idea how much we have to say about that.
Yeah, brace yourselves, y'all. We aren't doing a Wheel Takes episode, but
we're in for the long haul today. This is going to be.
If this is not our longest episode, I will be surprised.
It's got to be because, my God, there's so much. There's just so much.
And, here's the thing. I keep thinking of something and I'm like, oh, God, that's the worst moment of the episode. And then I'm like, nope.
Nope.
There was worse.
I mean, the fact that it took me a while to add Lanfear killing Eludrin.
I didn't even add it, James. I just realized. I didn't even add it. Oh.
The fact that's the thing. That didn't even crack the top 5 of worst things in this episode.
And that was, to be clear, not because it was devastating, but
a couple of people have mentioned me doing my Leandrin quotes and making people tear up. I'm going to do that in this episode, except I'm going to be Lanfear.
Perfect.
So.
Do we want to start with Lanfear?
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Let's start with Lanfear. Let's start with something light and breezy.
A little bit of BDSM to start with.
Why not?
I mean, I do love that episode. I do love that look in Teleran Riyadh. The fact that we got to see it move.
Perfect.
Perfect.
More like Teleran Horny, am I right?
I mean.
Oh, yes.
Lanfear is in such complete control of herself and everything around her. And the way she says Egwene's name last, she saves it for last, And there's a slight bit of disdain in her voice when she says it. Love it.
She is she is so she's unhinged, but in an extremely controlled way. Like she is teetering right on that edge, but she's having a great time doing it. Like she has
walked on that knife's edge for so long that she doesn't know how to do anything else.
Exactly. Like just constantly. And like the fact that she has the audacity, the gall, the gumption to say to Rand, what? You don't trust me? How could you? And to look like genuinely.
What makes you think you cannot trust me?
What?
How dare.
Yeah, I'm just amazed. I'm amazed.
But he's still young. Makes sense.
I know. That line from episode 5 was just like...
Girl.
Good Lord. He's still so young. I must remember that. I'm like, Rand, never sleep. Just don't sleep. Never. It's not safe.
Rand, you in danger, girl.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be the episode title. Rand, you in danger, girl.
And so what I really love with the interaction between Rand and Lanfear is that Rand kind of thinks that he will be able to manipulate her or something like that. But that is not working at all. Like she knows exactly what he's going to do.
I slightly disagree. I think that Rand thinks that he can survive.
Okay.
Yeah.
And get whatever he can out of it. Rand has no control. And I think Rand knows that. Rand knows that he has no chance against Lanfear. He just knows it's a risk he has to take.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get that.
But I don't think there's any way he comes out on top.
Definitely not.
Rand's a bottom.
Rand is a bottom.
He's a bottom in that relationship.
Glad that we all went there. That's fun.
He's the bottom in that relationship.
Yeah, but like the thing is that when she's talking to him, she's really putting herself as an ally to him against Ishamael. But I'm sure like Ishamael and Lanfear are completely aligned on what they're actually doing. Like it's like, I'm protecting you from Ishamael's dream. That wasn't Ishamael in the dream. No way.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I didn't know that theory. I didn't know that theory until today, but I kind of love that the fact that it might be, or that it's not.
Yeah. I feel like Lanfear and Ishamael are both aligned in one sense and very much not aligned in another, because I think that Lanfear's motivations are somewhat contrary to Ishamael's, where like Ishamael is, I think Lanfear has motivations that are not Dark One specific. Like she's, you know what I mean? Like she's, her motivation, she wants Rand.
Yeah.
She wants Luce Theron specifically. And so...
Doesn't Ishii, though, too?
Well, I mean, yes, but... yes.
I mean, apparently...
Lanfear and Ishii disagree in how they want to serve the dark, but they both agree that they want that dragon pussy.
They do. Absolutely, they do.
I mean, I do think that Ishamael is after, the end of the world, whereas Lanfear is like the end of the world and Luce Theron. And Ishamael thinks that he can use Rand against her. And honestly, he might be able to.
He might, because I think, and I don't think that Rand is going to be able to manipulate her necessarily. I don't think he'll be successful in it. But if there's anyone that could do it, it would be Rand. Because he is, especially now that he is at least partially aware of her fixation on him, he is kind of her, like she has a thing for him. She has a very specific thing for him. And that is, I think that sometimes clouds her judgment and her choices, at least somewhat. Not completely, but maybe somewhat.
But like, for example, one thing that I liked was how she showed him Egwene and in Falma. But like, she knew that was what he was gonna ask her. And she knew that that was what would trigger him to go to Falma. And we know that Ishamael wants him to go to Falma. So they do align on some specific thing, but like she basically got him to go to Falma by telling him that it was a way to protect his friend against Ishamael.
Yeah. And
I really like how she's playing with him.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
It pained Lanfear to take... So she said, I will take you to anybody. She knew he was going to ask for Egwene. It still hurt her.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Like the pain in her face.
The jealousy on her face. It's and I really like Rand. I liked Rand in that dream scene after seeing Egwene. He's like desperate. I think the actor played it very well. When he's
the actor. That's how you know you're a lesbian.
Yosha played it very well. That's
it's okay.
Anyway,
Camille, we're united in solidarity. It's okay. I get it. I know.
I don't know. It just like the way he shot Telly is so desperate, and
yeah,
I think the cast in this show, it's all of them are amazing.
So good.
They are all so many characters in this episode specifically are just teetering on the edge of just completely falling into that like everything is just hopeless, all is lost. Like they are just like right on that edge, and Rand was like he is right there. He is right there.
I will say, and I don't think this crosses the line into spoilers. Can we talk about the ring?
The ring of power?
Which one?
The fingering ring, Camille.
Oh, the ring. Yes.
The ring Lanfear has.
Is that spoilers or is that okay to talk about?
I don't think so, because we don't even know what that is.
Well, the theory is that it's something only people with 3 names got, because that's the thing in the books, is that people with 3 names were better than people with 2 names. In the books, Lanfear did not get a 3rd name. In Teleran Riyadh, she has the ring. In the real world, she does not have the ring. In the real world, Ishamael does have the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like in the real world so far, we've seen her mostly in how she was dressing as Celine.
Celine, yeah.
That's true.
That's absolutely true.
That's true.
So
my guess is it's just gonna be a way for the show to tell the viewers, that person is from the Age of Legend.
Maybe.
I don't think it's gonna go further than that.
It could be.
But it is interesting.
Yeah, I think it would be weird to go that deep, but but it was a nice little theory for book people to talk about.
That's cool. I would welcome it if that was the case. That's kind of cool.
Oh, and can we talk about how awesome First One's Free was?
Oh my god. Okay. Can we talk about Lanfear and Leandrin briefly?
Yeah.
Because that ties into it as well, or do we want to leave Leandrin for now?
I don't know what else we have on Lanfear.
On Lanfear and Rand, one thing that I had was how she mentioned that Rand leaving his friends leaves them vulnerable to Ishamael trying to turn them, and Rand was answering they will never turn, and Lanfear being pissed like, I thought that too once.
Mm-hmm.
And then you left me, and so I had to commit genocide.
I had to do a whoopsie.
I had to gaslight gatekeep girl boss genocide.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, basically. But like, I loved what they're doing with the Forsaken. It makes Lanfear so real.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Like, she's crazy, but she's
she is fucking out of her. Like, and for her to have the audacity to say Mogedian's insane, bitch. What?
Unless
I think she has a blind spot.
What?
For herself, just a little bit.
So good.
Though I think if Mogedian is...
We haven't seen Mogedian yet.
I think if Mogedian is insane compared to Lanfear, and Lanfear has a reasonable basis of saying that Mogedian's insane, that's going to be so much fun.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh boy. Anyway, Lanfear saying to Leandrin, just casually dropping that she's visited Leandrin's dreams. And she's curious about Leandrin's fixations. What?
I need to know what Leandrin has been dreaming about.
What are you dreaming about? The panicked look? The gay panic on Leandrin's face?
Are you dreaming about the Nanusi?
The Nanusi.
That was my first thought. That was my first thought. It was...
I was not on board with the Leandrin's gay for Nynaeve train until Lanfear said, you hate men. You hate men. Knowing that she's been in Leandrin's dreams. I'm like...
Listen.
Leandrin is going to kiss Nynaeve by the end of this season. I swear to God.
Leandrin has been carefully constructing an AU in her dreams. An alternate universe in her dreams about her and Nynaeve. And it's a reality where her and Nynaeve just take over the world. They are in charge of the tower. They have weird sex every night. Like this is Leandrin's. Yeah.
Are you sure it's not a coffee shop, AU?
I mean, you know what? Considering the fact that Leandrin looked absolutely panicked. Oh, no, you know what it is? It's that Leandrin is a bottom and she wants Nynaeve to top her. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I can't.
Leandrin is at bottom. 100%.
People can't know about this. People can't know.
But yeah, so Eludrin.
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like the casual cruelty.
Is it pity or cruelty?
I mean, both. Yeah.
¿Por qué no los dos?
See?
Sometimes we have to kill the things that we love so that they can stay ours forever, even if not in the same.
That's not quite what she said.
Okay, sure, yeah. I that's not my thoughts at all.
Oh.
That's not me.
Jesus.
Yeah, we're talking about Lanfear.
Yeah, Lanfear is like, you swore your oaths to keep him alive, but this is not life. And then Leandrin is just like, I know. And Lanfear, he's holding you back. The last tie to the girl you used to be. The girl who was beaten and starved and forced to marry before she bled. And then Leandrin turns and starts crying and says, I know. And that's why I'm here. To do what you can. A gift only one woman can give to another. No.
Yeet.
And it was just...
What?
There's so many moments in this episode that just made me want to, shout into a pillow.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of soundless scream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like just...
There was so much packed into that whole sort of monologue, that whole scene with her and Leandrin. It's just, we learned what we kind of already suspected about Leandrin in that, she was forced into a...
She's the bottom.
Horrific.
That,
yeah.
yes, that too.
But also...
How long has Eludrin been alive? Like...
This is the question.
How long has he been like that?
This is the question.
I mean, we were joking about Leandrin not knowing whether whether her son was 80 or 90, but it's maybe also because it's more than that. And
yeah,
it could be.
Like, what if this has been Eludrin's life for like 50 years?
Yeah.
It's just it's this show's ability to make me feel so much for a character like Leandrin is unreal. Because even as James was reading that, I was tearing up listening to it because I get what Leandrin's motivations in this and and what sort of we've been seeing from her all this season, and like she's known that this was always going to be the conclusion. She's known that this was the only logical conclusion to this entire situation. She knows.
She made a badly worded pact, and now she has to stick to it. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the worst.
Yeah, because it's not like she's not doing this because she hates the tower or she hates the Aes Sedai. I think she actually loves the tower in her own way, or at least there's a connection there that she has, but it's, oh my God.
Now that you're saying it kind of explains so much about Leandrin, for example, in season 1, and her being so sad about Kyriene's death, because she didn't join the Dark because she hates the tower. She joined the Dark for personal reasons, but they are not related to her sisters that she still considers as her sisters.
She thinks of them as her sisters, yeah.
Leandrin genuinely loves the tower.
She does.
And that's... why I love what the show is doing with her.
Oh yeah. And I honestly believe that she has there's some kind of, she feels something for Nynaeve. I know we've joked about it before, but I do think she feels something for Nynaeve that is genuine in her own way.
She feels something for Nynaeve because she sees herself in Nynaeve. A very strong, Leandrin is a powerful...
Oh, you mean, okay.
Not in that way, Matt.
Even I wasn't doing that. Even I wasn't going there.
But look.
No, you're fine. No, she sees a wounded girl that has been through some childhood trauma.
Yeah.
obviously it's not quite as bad as what happened to Leandrin, but like seeing your parents murdered in front of you,
That's bad shit.
that's hard.
Yeah.
Not great.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I get the sense that even like that Leandrin would even be proud of and like try to push Nynaeve to like new heights in the tower, even if she was never successful in recruiting Nynaeve to the dark. Like and if Nynaeve chose the yellow, I feel that Leandrin's sometimes I guess I'll be at one-sided relationship with Nynaeve is such that like she wants to push her as a woman with potential to the heights of her power, regardless of whether she joins the dark. And that's part of why I think Leandrin is. I mean, Leandrin was the first like on-screen character, I think, in the show, right? Like we had Moraine's
That's right.
voiceover, but like Leandrin, so like they were gonna do stuff with her, like, and she's getting the justice that first on-screen character of a series deserves, like by far.
She's not the first on screen because there was Moraine putting the suspender on and this kind of thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
came
yeah.
first. That's right. That's
that's why I was like, well, I mean, she's the first person we see on screen in this timeline, or like in the now.
The first person on screen and also speaking in the present.
Yes.
Yes. But anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I'm just so. I'm so impressed with what Kate Fleetwood is doing with this role. She is bringing it in a way that I was not anticipating at all. It's. Oh my god.
I think this feels like Leandrin's season, which makes me wonder if she's going to be in future seasons.
She's going to be in season 3.
Okay.
She's filming in season 3.
She's been filming.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I think it's too early to end her story.
I'm not sure whether she's going to stick along for that many seasons, but she's at least in season 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have anything? So Leandrin, we talked about. Like, there's just so many big bullet points.
I know.
What are some small ones that we can tackle? Rand?
Rand?
Is there more to do about Rand except for Matt?
Oh, yeah. My thing is his interaction with Logain. Because he picked up some savagery lessons.
I forgot that Logain was in this episode. Jesus Christ. Okay.
He picked up some lessons in savagery in the 5 minutes he spent with Moraine. Because Moraine, and we'll get to this in a minute about her being like the elder sister, Rand was like, you thought you were going to save the world or break it, but then the eye said, I gentled you. And now your only chance of making a difference is me. Like,
went for the jugular.
That was well done.
Yep.
That was well done.
Rand was so hot in that scene.
Yeah, so hot we couldn't even see him at some point.
I mean, yeah.
yeah. Like, I do love, this is slight spoiler, not really. In the books, you can't see weaves once you've been stilled or shielded or like gentled or whatever. I like that they can do that in the show because it makes it more painful for the person that's been stilled or gentled, and that is good TV.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
When in doubt, make it more painful.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's effective.
Very.
It's like there's a cool factor and there's a painful factor. That's the main two factors in TV.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's go to Moraine and Suan. Let's go to Moraine and Suan.
If we were talking about Rand, do we want to go with Rand and Matt?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about Matt and Min.
Yeah.
Because that part is going to be very short too.
Yes.
Yeah, Matt and Min is nothing.
The reunion between Rand and Matt was pretty cute.
It was very sweet. It was very sweet.
It was, I liked the look in Rand's face.
Yeah.
It was very sweet.
It's like where he hears the voice and he's like, wait a second, that can't be real. Like, is that, and then turns and sees him.
Is that?
It's just like the joy on his face, on both of their faces when they see each other. Oh, it was so good. It was lovely.
Is that the smell of wasted potential and old Cheetos? Is that Matt?
That's Matt.
Yeah, I loved their reunion. It was very touching.
Yeah. It was great.
Wasted potential and old Cheetos.
Paints a visual, doesn't
Is
it?
that the smell of wasted potential and old Cheetos? I feel like it could be a title.
That's a good title.
The thing is that I'm afraid that it sounds too negative and that people will think that we are negative about this episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Oh, they can get fucked.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but like we want people to actually listen to the episode, Matt. That's how it works.
This is true.
I know, it's so weird.
It's weird.
I liked Matt.
So reluctant. It's like pulling
And-
teeth.
Okay, look. I just don't like Matt as a character.
That's okay.
You don't?
I don't like book Matt. I don't like show Matt. I don't care if it's Donald Finn or Barney Harris or a blob of potatoes. It's bad.
Have you given Donald Matt a chance, though?
I tried. I genuinely did try.
But sometimes Matt doesn't have much to do this season so far, so it's like we'll see later on, I guess.
I will say, Billy Todd, Wheel of Cussin on Twitter said you could replace Matt with Wilson the volleyball for the first 2 books.
It's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely accurate.
And I am showing up to JordanCon 2024 with a Wilson the volleyball and saying, "Hey, have you met Matt?" It was nice to see them, I guess, but
if you don't care, we can move to those people who actually care.
Yeah, I just needed to let people know that I don't care.
Yeah.
I did find them cute. I really enjoyed that, like, Rand telling Matt that he told everyone he was, like, that everyone think is dead, and Matt being like, we're not better off without you, and Rand saying that's the same with you.
That's very sweet.
It was nice. Very sweet.
It was nice to have this moment between them, I guess. And so Min is completely getting drunk after seeing Ishii, because she knows she messed it up a lot. But I did enjoy very much, like, Matt coming to me and then being like, "Oh, Min." That was cute.
That was so cute.
That was so cute, only to realize that she lied to him for a long time, whatever the time was.
The entire time, yeah.
Yeah, for the entire time they've known each other.
The no thing. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was
that broke me a little bit.
The betrayal on his face was difficult to watch. It was that was painful, because he was genuine. He was
devastated.
Yeah, because this is the first time since, like, he left his friends behind that he's felt safe around someone. And to find out that person, like, their interactions weren't even genuine from the very beginning. They were in fact manufactured. It's devastating.
And only to find out that he has to leave his friend behind again. Like, his face when he watched Rand leave.
Yep.
I'm curious about Min's motivations, because Min seems like a sharp cookie, and Min making a deal with the dark without knowing that that's what she was doing seems off-brand. So I hope that gets resolved at some point.
I'm sure it will, but yeah.
I think honestly, it's to highlight how desperate she is to get rid of this. I think that's what's that's what's clouding, because you're right. She is a very smart cookie, and I think she's really good at picking up on people, even outside of her talent. She's very good at picking up on people's motivations and whatnot, but I think she's just so desperate to be rid of this.
I am curious about what she saw when they went into Kyrian, because Min was looking around frantically and horrified and being like, "This is a mistake."
Oh, I did not notice that.
And so now I'm like, girl, what did you see?
Yeah.
Raven. Miss Raven Simone.
Yeah. And that's something that is really good. The show is good at, and I'm using it to transition into another point. But what characters don't say is just as important as what they do say, and how characters act, their facial expressions, their actions are just as important as what they don't do. And my point of this, and I know this is, I don't want to take from Camille's point too much, because I don't like to hop off of co-hosts' points, especially when we agree, but people complaining about Lan and how the Lan Yvonne Maxim thing makes no sense. It makes total sense. Lan is not, forgive the use of the word, he's not pussying out. He's not ratting out Moraine. What he's doing is he's desperate. He's cornered. He needs someone to help with the dragon, but he needs to know beyond any shadow of a doubt someone besides Moraine that he can trust, who's not a dark friend. And taking the letter, leaving it where they'd find it, and doing what he did was the one surefire way to know without any doubt that Alana, Yvonne, and Maxim were not dark friends. So what Lan did, And maybe it's not true, but this is, like Camille said, it's their headcanon, it's my headcanon.
I didn't say it. You didn't let me say it.
I'm sorry. Okay, Camille, you say it then. Cut out when I say it.
No, I'm not gonna cut. But it's actually something that I read on Twitter, so it's not even my point. But like at first, when I saw that scene, I just thought that Lan was desperate, and because there's literally 2 4-second art, Moraine who doesn't have any power, Lan who is away, and he doesn't even know whether she can find Brand again. So it's like, shit, something needs to be done. Something needs to happen, and nobody knows about it at all. So at first I just thought, well, Lan is trying to find Swan, and that's pretty much it. And then he's being cornered, that doesn't have any other choice but to say something so that he doesn't get killed by Alana and the rest for being a dark friend. I do think that while this is the first thought that I had while watching this episode, I feel like Lan is a bit too smart for that. And I mean, there was some very kind of obvious thing, like he mentioned that someone is always with him. I think it was in episode 4. Yeah. Someone was always with him whenever he wanted to take a break by himself. And then what does he do? He take a break by himself, read the poem, and put him somewhere right when Maxim is showing up. Which makes me wonder whether it was intended, because he knows that the Black Aja exists. That's something he knows. So best case scenario, he finds out that his friends are not dark friends, so he has more lies on his side. Worst case scenario, they reveal themselves as being dark friend, and well, at least he find out some Black Aja people. Yeah, so I do think maybe he's not that dumb as I thought he was while watching the show. And I'm hoping, so I'm basically, unless there's something other, like there's something else telling me that no, he just really was that basic. My headcanon is that he knew that they were going to check, he knew that they were going to ask, and he kind of pushed the interaction in order to see how it would go and whether he could trust them.
Yeah.
Whether it's right or not, whether it's true or not, I don't know. We'll see. But that's how I'm going to take it for now.
Yeah, it would not surprise me if that was the case, because I agree. Like, Land is most certainly not dumb. He is, in fact, I think, quite strategic in the way that he approaches things. He's had to be. He knows how to think on his feet. And like you said, he knows that even though Moraine definitely wants to, and she's going to try her best to do this, she can't do this on her own. It's not possible. This is no longer like her being just being him and her in this by themselves is no longer a viable option. It's just not.
Which Moraine is going to be pissed about.
Oh, she's not going to be upset. It's like, and I saw, it's kind of funny. I saw someone I think it was on Tumblr, where like someone was like, oh, Moraine is going to find out the downside to having a platonic bestie and also a romantic soulmate is sometimes they gang up on you. They tag team against you. And that's essentially what's happening. We're like, okay, well.
And also, like, I'm sorry, Moraine, but if you didn't want Lan to do anything, don't leave him behind.
Right?
You know him. You know he's not going to take your no for an answer and just give up. He's going to do something. What do you think he's going to do at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
And also, like, even if Lan wasn't that smart, I'm not going to complain about a bit more communication in the Wheel of Time. Like, I'm sorry, we all complain about the lack of communication in the books. I'm fine if some information get told between characters. Because there's nothing more infuriating as a viewer to see two people knowing something and not talking about it.
Exactly.
As much as people say that Robert Jordan is turning in his grave because of this change or that change, first of all, it's very disrespectful to say that of the deceased and of a creator.
I saw he got burned.
True. But
he cannot turn into his grave, literally, his ashes, right?
He got cremated, you mean?
If one thing would make Robert Jordan turn in the ether sphere wherever he is, it's characters communicating. Because he was allergic to that shit.
He's like, no. Not in my Wheel of Time.
This is where I draw the line.
Not in my Wheel of Time at all.
Not in my Wheel of Time. Yeah, I mean, we've been talking a bit about Moraine. Do we want to move there?
Let's talk about Moraine. Ooh.
And Suan.
Talk about someone else who's teetering on the edge. Moraine is just...
We can talk about Swan reappearing.
She's returned from the war. I know. Anyway.
I am curious as to what she was doing in Camelin. Oh no, Shiriam said she was attending like a name day ceremony for Gawain, right?
Something like that.
No.
No.
Oh no, that's what Elaine was doing.
Yeah. Alana said Lan that she was in Camelin.
Mm-hmm.
Was she honest about it? We don't know.
Well, she can't lie.
She can't lie. That's true. She can't lie.
True.
Yeah. So she was that was true then.
Or did she say Suan was in Camelin?
I don't remember.
Let me check.
Because if she was in Camelin, at some point she was in Camelin.
Yes. Yeah, because words matter.
She said she's returning from a visit to Camelin, so she must have been in Camelin.
So that is specific then. She was in Camelin.
Yeah.
I kept forgetting that they cannot lie. James is judging me.
Uh-oh.
No, that's okay. No, that's not what I was judging.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Moraine being all like, I am the elder sister, like,
Oh boy.
Moraine snapped.
Oh, yeah.
She snapped.
Okay, but like, the thing that is very interesting is what happened before that. Because first, Rand woke up and she had just found Rand back. And that dumbass, what does he do? The first thing is go away. It's like, I just found you again. Bye. So she found the dragon. She lost him. She found him again. No, she lost him again. The frustration, like she was in tears when he left because she doesn't know what to do anymore. She tried everything and she even tried to have him talk with Lanfear and it makes things even worse. She doesn't even know what to do. So she writes a letter. She struggled to write a letter.
It's almost like she can't do this by herself. It's almost like, I don't know.
It's almost like...
What a surprise.
Yeah, that entire letter where she was like, Dear Suan,
Ooh.
like, that was so intentional. And I love the overt lesbianness.
And yeah, and then Bartones come with that sandwich that is so freaking bland. I'm sorry, I have to say that. What is that bread?
I questioned. I'm like, can Moraine lie? Because that is not a good sandwich. And she said it was.
But also, Moraine can't cook.
Her taste buds might be a little
Her
bit...
taste buds are like really, like they're Birkenstocks.
When she said that, she was like, the unspoken part was like, this was a very good sandwich compared to dirt. Like, that part, she whispered. You could not hear it.
But listen, Barthanes, cute as a button. He is...
Cute as a button.
I felt bad for him.
He loves his aunt so much. Like, he is trying so hard.
Also, Barthanes making a sandwich for Rand. Barthanes is gay for Rand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean...
I ship it.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
And so Bartones brings that sandwich. Moraine is very rude to him because she hasn't slept in days and she's dumbass right now. And that pisses off Anvea so much because she's like, you can be mean to me, you cannot be mean to my son.
I don't blame her.
So there's this fight between the two of them. And it just, Moraine is a bitch, but at the same time, she hasn't slept in days. She thinks she's stealed. She lost Lan and Rand, both time from her own fault. But that's another issue. I don't think she even knew that her father was... like asked for her when he was about to die. I think she learned it during that conversation that he asked for her because she was not in the White Tower at that time. And that broke my heart.
Possibly.
I didn't think about that.
She wasn't in the White Tower.
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't. That's true. I mean, it's all of that is true, but also like if Moraine would say even some of this, not all of it, some of this, communicate some of it to her sister would probably be a lot more understanding. But Moraine is like, I get it. I get it. She's not in the space to talk about anything. She is locking down those emotions. She has crumpled them up and put them in a little box. And she's like, I'm going to deal with this later. Or maybe never. Who knows? I may decide.
Never. She doesn't.
Who knows?
She doesn't think there's going to be a later.
That's a good point.
Moraine's like, turn it off.
Like a light switch.
The issue is that Moraine doesn't trust anyone. And I don't think she even trusts her sister, especially like from growing up in Korean and also the political thing and knowing that dark friends are there, that the black Aja is there, I'm very curious about who in her past she thought she was close to being, like, she could have trusted them. Because I felt like she must have felt betrayed at some point, to the point that no, she cannot tell that to anyone.
Yeah, I mean, Moraine has some shit. She has some stuff in her past that's just like, and it's coloring the way that she is reacting to her current situation, and it's making it worse, and she knows that it's making it worse. She knows that everything that is happening, like having this like sort of antagonistic interaction with her sister, it's not helping the situation. It's not helping her. It's making it worse. But I don't think she knows of any other way to go about things right now.
Nope.
Which is devastating. It's so sad.
The good thing is that after she wrote that letter, so which must have been the next day because she changed in between, she did go back to her nephew to apologize, which I think was a good scene because she's messing up, but at least she realizes it, at least with respect to her nephew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's still human.
She is.
He's such a sweet little button.
He is. He's a little muffin.
I am curious about Marthanas. Like, does Moraine actually think he's going to be a good king? Like...
I mean, she said it.
She said it.
I think she hopes that he will be. I think that is what she is choosing to believe right now.
You'll be a good king in the sense that you'll just sit there and do what you're told because the queen is the one with power.
There you go.
Okay. How have we not mentioned Suan's daggers?
Oh my God. A literal crown of swords. So good.
That was the best bit of CGI and the one power in the season so far.
Oh,
yeah.
It's so good.
Sophia Okonedo looks like an absolute empress, queen, goddess of the universe just when she's reading a letter. And she needs to do nothing but sit there, and she's amazing. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Preferably on Maureen's face.
Yes, preferably. I mean, it certainly is her preference. So,
anyways,
you know.
I mean, Moraine is not Moraine. Moraine is not the Ameline seat. She's the seat of the Ameline sometimes.
There you go.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
What do you want to say? Yeah, I saw. I don't remember if it was on Twitter or on Tumblr or something like that, but someone made a reference about how, like, you know, Swan has all of this dagger, and when Moraine was fighting Ishii, it was very similar type of weaves, and I was like, oh, wives.
Yeah, I know. They're both deep down to their core. They're both a little bit feral, and I do love that. Like, they still have that sort of like feral energy where they're just like, okay, I'm ready to fuck shit up, and it's great. And she does it in such like a it's just like a deep breath, like literally takes a deep breath and she's ready. Oh my God, she looks so good.
Yeah,
she looks so good.
Ready to fuck shit up by going to Karin with 14 Aes Sedai.
14 Aes Sedai?
Oh, so I tried counting them, and I guess if you include Liane, then yes, it is 14. Also, Liane, we see her for 0.4 seconds, and she is just, her fashion...
Impeccable.
Like...
Impeccable.
The outfits this season are amazing, and all of my favorites are on Liane.
Incredible.
Every single... Like, she walks around with a wardrobe.
Yeah.
I love this about her.
Yeah.
I love Liane so much.
I am so excited. I can't wait until we get, I'm assuming in season 3, we're going to get more, or 4, we're going to get more Liane content, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
She is on the steps of that palace or whatever for literally less than a second, and I love her so much.
Yeah. And she said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring it. They didn't ask me to.
She said, cunt, right here.
Right here?
Fresh cunt.
Okay.
Fresh cunt.
that'll be the title. That's a great title for the episode.
Fresh
cunt right here. Come get your pussy.
That will totally...
Come get your pussy snatched. Right here.
Okay.
I only need 0.5 seconds on screen to snatch your pussy.
That's actually the better title.
That's the one. Oh my god. And also, can we just one little moment when Leandrin tries to come up to Swan and say something, like a little bit snarky, and Swan very coolly is like, please, I'm not the one. You don't want this. And Leandrin, the way that Leandrin just kind of like very quickly slinks back and is like, oh, okay, never mind. You're right. I don't want that heat. I don't want it.
The last time the Hermione Sid called sisters to meet with her and Karine, we installed a new king on the Sun Throne. Well, maybe this Hermione is a little more frivolous, daughter. We'll have to wait and see.
And it's the way that Sophia Okonedo turns and looks, that Swan turns and looks at Leandrin and is like, we'll have to wait and see. And Leandrin immediately gets the hint and is like, okay, I'm gonna go.
I am slightly curious about the timelines because, like, they move it around quick, but you know what? I'm not asking questions.
Oh, that is actually a funny thing because a few days ago, I have some friends who are so complaining about the timeline, and I try to make note sheet about what the timeline and this kind of thing, and then I took a picture. I'll send you the picture because the picture is hilarious. There's one moment where it's about Egwene, and she's like, see Egwene, she has been captured for many days by then, no? If not weeks. And then I know that right next to it, someone can survive 3 days without water.
You can survive longer without water.
It's the food. The food is the more pressing.
Right? No, it is water, but it is more than 3 days.
Yeah. I was Googling it up, and the answer that I got directly was 3 days.
Really?
But it may be a little bit more, but it's not a lot more. You die very quickly without water.
Egwene has had it.
Are we talking about Egwene now? Is that what
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
No, we're not ready. We're not there yet.
We were just talking about timeline, okay?
Yeah, Suan in episode 7 is going to be amazing.
Did you notice that actually the writer for episode 7 is a writer for the 6th episode of the first season?
Do you mean the origins?
No, like the writer for season 2, episode 7 is a writer for season 1, episode 6.
Oh, I misunderstood because I've also seen that Remy Park is a writer for several episodes this season.
I think it was for the previous episode. For episode 6.
And she did all of Origins.
She did.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I am episode 7. It's going to be hard to top it. Episode 6 seems to be like the episode for Wheel of Time.
Yep. And I feel like that keeps happening. Like, as the further we get into the season, the more we're like, oh, this is the episode. And then we're like, no, actually, this one is the episode. And I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I can do more than pour the water.
Well.
Yeah.
So we need to move to Falme.
Yes.
Because I think we have reached pretty much, we are 55 minutes into it. We haven't started to go.
We need to talk about Rima and Nynaeve and Elaine.
I think very quickly, I have a few things about Suroth.
Okay.
Because we have a very quick scene with Loyal, Suroth, and Inktar. And gosh, Suroth, I hate her so much. She's a freaking bitch. When she talks to Loyal about saying, is my Ogier Dakovale, fuck her. She asked him to thing, and then as soon as she noticed her audience paying more attention to him, that they're paying attention to her, she's laughing and making a joke out of him so that people don't feel something for him, especially not something like attention or compassion, this kind of thing. It's like, no, that person needs to be ridiculous, and I fucking hate Suroth, and I hope at some point you're gonna die. She's
a petulant child, is what she is.
Yes.
She's a petulant child, and she is doing it very well. Like, she is, even in the scene, like, it was this episode or the episode before where she has that moment with Ishamael, and she starts speaking.
Episode before.
It was the episode before, right?
Even the one before again, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. And she starts, like, the way that she starts speaking to him, and then as soon as she realizes that she's, like, overstepped, she's like, okay, well, like, kind of pouts and was like, okay, well, whatever. But, like,
she's one of those bitch in high school.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, like, she has some nerve, I tell you. She has some fucking nerve. She's a fascinating character, but
I hate her.
Yeah.
Anyone has something on Suroth, so we can move on to Elaine and Nynaeve.
No, we're good.
I'm good.
Okay, let's move on to them then.
Okay.
Okay.
If we have to, so okay. Let's. You know what? Let's ease into it. Let's start off with something light. I love the dynamic that they're setting up with Elaine and Nynaeve. When Nynaeve is pacing upstairs, and Elaine is like, "Please, like, can you not?" And she's like, "I'm not pacing. I'm investigating." Perfect. This is exactly what they need to be. This is the dynamic that they need to be.
When she's mad at Elaine, she keeps calling her princess, and it just makes me laugh so much.
It's so good. It's so wonderful. And it makes me very excited for, future things.
I'm not the one who got us in this situation.
They're just bickering.
Elaine kind of solidified herself as a character for me in this episode. Like, I was not on the Elaine train. I was close to it a little bit, but what put me over the edge was her saying, like, Nynaeve asking, "Why are you risking everything for someone you barely know?" And Elaine pauses and says, "She's my friend, and I've never had one of those before."
Same, Elaine. Same.
I love also, that moment where both Elaine and Nynaeve are telling Rimas they're not gonna leave. Like, Nynaeve say it in a very direct way. And then you got Elaine, who is politically skilled / she's very well spoken, and the way she says that was like, yes, this is this is the one from the farming village and the one from the from the castle.
Yeah, like Nynaeve said it disrespectfully, and Elaine is like, respectfully, this is what's happening. Like, it's respectfully.
Nynaeve is like, fuck off.
Yes.
Elaine is like, respectfully fuck off.
Exactly. Like, she says it in the nice cleaned up way, but says essentially the same thing.
You have underestimated both the situation and ourselves or something like that. I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was perfect.
It's perfect.
It was good.
It was real good. It was real good. And just,
Rima teaching Nynaeve to use the one power.
Oh.
That was beautiful.
The fact that it's the sister from the yellow Aja who is able to connect with Nynaeve in this way, because like she knows, she's able to clock that Nynaeve is a wisdom, and that Nynaeve is going to look at things in a very, like, she's going to look at things in a healer way. She's going to look at it as something that she needs to diagnose. And that's precisely what Nynaeve does. She diagnoses the Adam. And of course, it's a yellow sister that is able to pick up on this and able to guide Nynaeve in a way that no other Aes Sedai has been able to do. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
And I love that, like, Rima directly clocked in that Nynaeve was a wisdom. And so for, like, when she's bringing the tea and she's like, this is this herb. You know that this herb is to do that. It's because I want to have a quiet conversation with the two of you. And she's really, like, putting her cards on the table and being like, I know what you know. Let me tell you where I stand here. And then we can have something good, a productive conversation.
Yes, exactly.
I just love that when you said when she's bringing the tea, I was like, what?
Not the gay tea.
I know, that's why I was so confused.
Not the tea.
So that's why you were laughing. I was curious what I said. That was funny.
That is why I was laughing. I'm like, when did Rima bring the tea? When did she sit down and kiki with these girls?
Oh God, that song.
But yes, I will say, like, Rima as a character, prior to what happens in the last, like, 10 minutes, her dedication to her cause and knowing, like, the second Nynaeve channeled too much, she knew. Yeah. And there was no change in expression in her face.
She didn't get mad. She didn't chastise Nynaeve. She was just like, no, it's okay. This is important what you figured out. And
like, what did you learn?
Yes, exactly.
That is the important part.
Exactly.
And I love, this is not a spoiler, but in the books, that is pretty much what Nynaeve does. Nynaeve tries to figure out what the Adam is doing, and she's like, it's broken. It cannot be healed unless it is attached to someone and attached to a woman. And that's disgusting.
Oof. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Especially when you keep cutting between, like, them and Egwene.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, when Rima gave Nynaeve the rings, I was like, okay, shit's gonna happen. And then when Rima took off her own ring, I said, oh.
Nynaeve is going to treasure that. Like,
can I trust you, wisdom?
Yeah.
I love that she said, can I trust you, wisdom, to take my ring to the flame? And I just want to say is that for everyone who complain about the episode we step in, this moment is made even more powerful by the fact that you have seen someone put some, like an Aes Sedai's ring in the flame.
Yeah. It's like, Nynaeve, I think this is what is going to change Nynaeve's trajectory in how she approaches becoming an Aes, like how she approaches that journey. Her interactions with Rima, it's going to change everything.
I really love how she kept insisting about sisterhood and how she's her sister. And even after learning about the Black Aja, which really changed her mind because she's like, oh, no, we need to protect these girls so that they can actually tell the news to the tower. She's shocked by the news. She still kept going because Rima is a very badass character and we only saw her for one episode.
It's the depth that those actors, Niokabi and Bentley, who plays Basan, the depth that they were able to bring to these characters that we really only saw for an episode and a little bit because we saw them at the end of the previous episode, I believe.
Yeah, we did.
The depth they were able to bring to those characters is just, I'm still in awe of it. I'm in awe of it because even in their fight, like even in them going to their death and knowing that they're going to die, they still find time to smile at each other and to be playful with each other. There's so much obvious love there. It's just, I'm so glad. I'm just really glad that both Elaine and Nynaeve got to see an example of this kind of Aes Sedai. Because I feel like the Aes Sedai that they've been exposed to up until this point have kind of been self-serving, maybe a little bit, just a tad. But Rima, I think she changes their thinking about what an Aes Sedai could be and should be. And it's just, them watching that whole sequence, it's just,
Yeah, it was hard.
My one comment, which is not spoiler, is that I've loved the trajectory of Elaine and Nynaeve's relationship this season. I think it's one of the most organically grown relationships because we get the first line of Nynaeve's basically like, bitch, who the fuck are you? Get the fuck out my room. Or no, get the fuck out your own room is basically what it is.
Yes.
And when they hold hands at the end of the episode, that was just, it was a very, very small glimmer of loveliness in an otherwise horrible sea of awful things happening in the episode. And like just the way they pulled off the growing of that friendship.
Yeah. Fantastic.
The way Elaine looks at Nynaeve when she put her hand on her mouth so that she doesn't speak.
Because, and it's... we don't have the time to go like super in depth, but like all the choices they made with how that final sequence was structured was just so beautifully done because of course the ending, like of course Elaine is the one that is able to stay level-headed in that moment and calm in that moment because Nynaeve is all heart and all emotion. And if Nynaeve had her way, she would have gone down there and done what Nynaeve does, and it wouldn't have gotten them anywhere. And Elaine knew that. Elaine knew that she had to be the one that had to be strong in this moment because she sees that Nynaeve is not able to do this. She's not able to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Last thing on Rima for me, just that sums up for the origami fight.
That was brilliant.
The terror of a yellow, like someone from the yellow Aja that could bring the terror someone like that can bring to an enemy I like fantastic. I'm so glad that they did it that way.
I love that she just like gave one of the Soldom like just smallpox real quick.
Gave her a quick plague.
Quick plague.
Yep. Okay, now we need to talk about Egwene.
Okay.
So can we talk about Rena?
You want to talk about Rena first and then Egwene? Okay.
Because
Zelia Mendes Jones.
My God.
that's it.
My God.
The beast you are.
Phenomenal actor.
My God. The person that you are. The person that you are. It's just so
I hate you, but you did an amazing job.
incredible. Phenomenal.
Best performance this season.
Yeah.
So far from
Yeah.
a single actor, like even including on there with Leandra.
Yeah. It's, I mean, yeah.
It's just, I have a list of quotes here and they're all just like each more devastating than the other. But the most devastating line to me this entire episode and the most heartbreaking one was the casual way that Rena says, "It's hard, I'm sure, to have grown up thinking you were a person only to realize that you're a demone instead."
God.
Very close to that one. Egwene saying no woman can have power with a collar on her neck. Oh, Egwene, you are not a woman. You are a damane and a powerful one.
I hope they, and then immediately after, I hope they told you that at your White Tower just how special you are.
Yes.
And that is the second that Egwene's resolve begins to
Yes.
crack.
Because you can see there's a split second where Egwene is elated to hear this. She is elated to hear this. And then very quickly, the disgust takes over. It's just, because the way that Rena is saying this to Egwene, it's that, like, she's being so genuine. She's being, like, she's not being
Cruel.
She's not being cruel. That's the thing. That's what's horrifying about it. She's talking to Egwene like you would talk to a pet, because that's what,
Yes.
that's how she views her. That's how she views Egwene.
She pet her hair.
Yes.
She literally pets her hair.
Twice in the episode, yes.
And yeah, she's Rena is very creepy. She genuinely believes in the damane suldam thing.
Oh my God.
And she speaks with such a soft voice. The only time she gets very angry is when they manage to channel together, and Rena feels so happy because did you feel it or affinity? And then Egwene still cannot pour some water, and she's so mad.
The look of betrayal.
She's hurt.
She's hurt. She feels betrayed because she's like, we are getting somewhere. Look what we're doing. We're doing a great thing here. And then for her to realize, like, nope, we're not there, like, not there yet. It
hurts.
It's just so much. It's so much.
Yeah, it hurts.
And then we get to that last scene. Nothing exists outside this cell for you, Egwene. Nothing outside this door, beyond these stones. Nothing except this pitcher and my empty cup.
Yeah.
My cup. That's the size of your world, Egwene. That's it.
Mm.
Pour the water.
Yeah, no, I think the reason Brenna is so frustrated is because, yes, she wants to be close to Egwene, but also trying to figure out how to say this. She's worried that Egwene won't survive this.
Right.
And she will need to, like, kill Egwene or whatever, or Egwene will just not be a functional demone. So for her, this is a very real sense of loss that she could experience. And it's fucked up beyond all belief.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah,
that's her reality.
It's like, I didn't rewatch those scenes. I selectively rewatched the episode and did not rewatch those specific scenes because it's just a little bit, they're a lot. They are so well done. They are phenomenal, but I like that they are not like sort of sugarcoating the Shan-Chan and the society of the Shan-Chan. They're going full on with this. They are not leaving anything up to the imagination about how horrific what the Shan-Chan do is. This is horrifying, and we should be horrified by it. And like, you shouldn't feel good after this. If you feel good after watching this episode, I'm sorry, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you. Because...
So we haven't talked much about Madeline Madden.
Mm-hmm.
The hugs that she must have needed
after
the aftercare required.
Mm-hmm.
She deserves all the awards.
Give her everything.
I'm honestly gonna be mad if this episode doesn't get some nomination, or if Madeline Madden doesn't get some sort of nomination, because she was incredible in that episode. And the physicality of her torture because it's easy when someone hate you to react to that, but she's reacting to physically nothing in the real world, and still like the contortion she gets, the pain you feel just by looking at her. And gosh, she did an amazing job. It was horrifying to watch, and my utmost respect to her.
Yeah, I feel like any comment I make is going to fall so short of what she did in this episode, so it's hard to even think of a word that is appropriate to it because it's just so amazing.
It's something that speaks for itself, really. I mean, I want to say there's nothing much to say because that seems like it's dismissing it, but it's a performance that's so powerful that really there is nothing to say. I mean, you watch it, it speaks for yourself. If you're listening to this after having watched it, you don't need us to discuss, because there is nothing. Like it just speaks for itself. It's like looking at a painting in the Louvre or looking at a mountain for the first time. Like it just is what it is.
Yeah. It's this episode had several standout performances, and this has been a consistent thing. This episode, I think, set the bar like super high, extremely high. This was excellent fantasy. I
mean, even some like book clubs or like people that were following the show but being very dismissive about it, some of those people got won back with this episode, and that's So I mean, not the hard book clock, but like the people that were like, oh yeah, it's a nice fantasy show, but it's just a fantasy show. It's not particularly impressive in itself. This episode did it for a lot of them.
Yeah, like it's for me, so season 1 was very much like, I do genuinely believe that it was good television, but it was also it was a thing that I love that is being made into television. And that is a big part of why I have so much love for season 1. Not that there weren't standout moments in season 1, there absolutely were. But season 2 is setting the show apart in a way that season 1 couldn't and didn't. For whatever reason, whatever reason you think, whatever. Season 2 is doing things that season 1 just wasn't. And this episode specifically, I feel like, is like, this is everything that Wheel of Time can be. And we're you know, like we're seeing this now, and I genuinely feel like it's only going to get better from here.
Same.
Yeah. I'm excited. I had 2 very miscellaneous things before we move into spoilers. Okay. Unless we have anything else on Rena and Egwene.
I mean, I just wanted quickly to mention, because I was talking with Kat and Matt right before recording about that. So I have a tendency to pay a bit attention to the music, and sometimes I don't exactly know what it means. I was particularly curious about the cello/violins that are playing while Egwene is being hanged, basically, because this is a piece we already have heard in the first season. Usually it's layered on top of Aman Sedai, which is like the theme for The Dragon Reborn. So we saw it in The Hunt, which is when they leave at the end of the first episode, when Moraine is saying the whole thing about the wind, and the first age and blah, blah, blah. No, third age and this kind of thing. There's also in Cracks of Light, which is, I think, when Rand's mother gave birth to him. And now we have it layered on a basic version of Egwene's theme, and then it switches back to Egwene's theme once Rima is gone. And while I have no idea what this means, I just found it very fascinating.
Interesting. Yep.
And also Megan at the end.
Oh my God, we haven't talked about Megan.
So that was one of my miscellaneous things.
Oh.
I mean, yes, let's talk about Megan, but I love the fact that even after she's been broken as a human being and she is a demone, she still refers to Egwene as child.
Yes. Yeah. And is like trying to comfort her in whatever way she can in this moment, because she knows what Egwene is going through. She knows what Egwene is suffering with. And that final look at Egwene after she hears Megan say, I used to be a sitter of the Blue Aja.
Did she hear her? I'm not entirely sure.
I think she did.
I had that same question. I think she did.
Because Egwene is devastated, obviously. And then when Megan says that, Egwene's face shifts a bit from devastation to a bit of determined, like some of that determination comes back, which is going to be important in future episodes.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
No, it's Megan. I'm curious as to the role she's going to have. She's clearly going to show up in the next 2 episodes sometime.
Yes. Yep.
I also, the last random ass thing I had was Alana saying, I'm dying for some tea. Is hyperbole allowed under the 3 oaths? Does she really love tea?
I think it is. I mean, joking has to be. Surely joking is, in humor, got to be like allowed.
I'm gonna kill you.
I feel like in the books, hyperbole they could not sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't think hyperbole is allowed to that degree. Like, I am dying for some tea.
I think it depends on what they mean by it, like how they interpret it.
It is. Intention is full.
Yes.
It's all about intention. Like,
Yeah.
Alana does say, we will kill you, as in, like, Maxim and Yvonne will kill you. I can't use the one power because I'm not 100% convinced you're a dark friend, but they'll murder you. And we are collective.
Yes, exactly.
So, but yeah, I'm dying for some tea. I'm like, I'm figuring out a way to read that where it's the truth and whatever.
Well,
yeah. And very last thing, since you mentioned Alana even in the thing. So Taylor Napier had to tweet literally about people rooting for Lan, a straight man, to beat up Even and Maxim. And while I have not really seen those tweets, I find it very disappointing that he had to make a comment about that. Please, I beg people to start thinking about the implication of what they're saying sometimes.
I'm sure they didn't mean anything terrible by it and they didn't realize what they were saying. But yeah, like Camille said, give your thoughts like a second. Like, think about what you're saying. Don't be that.
And also, like, what are you saying about Lan as a character? What are you saying about Lan as a character that you think this would be a viable option for Lan unless he absolutely unless they actually literally revealed themselves to be dark friends? In what reality do you think Lan would be what are you talking about? Like, think what you're saying through, please. Just a little bit, slightly.
On this, let's move on to the full book spoiler, because fuck it, I'm gonna suffer in post-production.
I'm so sorry, Camille.
Let's make it quick.
Quickish. As quick as we can. Matt, I know you had a bunch about other Matt.
So yeah, to me, one of the best changes is to Matt's character this season. His reaction to Rand being the dragon is way less, I would say, latently homophobic, because I know we talked, and especially James brought up the point that the way that Matt reacts in the books is very sort of like a queer person being rejected when they come out by their family or friends. And instead of that, which is the vibes that we got in the books, we have something that's more like, oh, cool, dude, let's get drunk. And I'm hoping it's unnecessary for Matt to really hate channelers and distrust channeling to the extent that he does in the books, with the caveat that they've also given him a reason to distrust Aes Sedai because of what Leandrin does to him. So we get him putting essentially Rand first as like, Rand is my friend, but I'm going to hate on Aes Sedai and I don't trust them because my first real experience with an Aes Sedai other than Moraine was being held captive for how many months it was. So yeah, I think it portends, for the show at least, a Mat that's maybe more sufferable, less irritating where Rand is concerned. And I also loved how it's a very subtle character arc, but essentially he's a coward in the first half of this season. Like he could have said hello to Egwene, but he didn't because he was too scared. Mm-hmm. And with Min and the viewings, and her saying, if you love him, you've got to abandon him, and you just got to leave him. So he does what he did to Rand. What he did to Egwene, he does with Rand, but instead of being a coward, he does it because he knows that Min is right. And even if her viewing isn't precisely what she thinks it means, it's best for Rand if Mat is not around. And you can see the pain in his eyes when he's watching Rand realize that Mat is not coming. And you can see how much that hurts him. And it's a very quiet sort of character growth, but it's very subtle, but I think it works so well. And that's why I think that's why I love what they're doing with him this season, because of that very slight shift in how he reacts to the whole Dragon Reborn thing. So that was my little Mat spiel.
If only communication existed in the Wheel of Time.
Yes.
He could have told Rand.
If only.
If only.
About the viewing.
Yeah, if only. Alas, it does not.
I had mainly a bunch of tiny things. Like, for example, it's the second time we're seeing those fake Trollocs in Cairn, like those fake monsters. We saw them when Rand came into Cairn, was into Cairn, and we saw them with Mat this episode when he arrived. I feel like they're gonna matter next episode.
Oh, yes, I think so too.
I mean, oh, no. Why don't you watch next episode bits, Camille?
No, I haven't. I know there's something about Mat, but
I know. I'm like, literal angry fists at the air. Like,
I know. I was about to say it, and I was like, oh no, we can't say it. We can't say it.
Thank you for thinking about me. And one other tiny thing that I could say, since we're talking about Mat, is that we had another dream with Mat with only one eye.
Yes, we did. I love it.
In the same episode that we got the dearest Swan. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep believing that we're gonna get my gay Genji shows, like
Listen.
Swan and Mat going to save Moraine from the Tower of Genji.
I would love that so much.
The Sapphics are gonna manifest this, Camille. We are gonna do this. We are gonna make this happen. Because yes, that was literally when I saw Dearest Swan, I was like, is this what's happening? What's going on?
okay, I'm confused because like, what are y'all like so happy about with Dear Swan?
The letter,
Dearest Tom,
the letter that she writes to Tom
to go to the tower.
Yes.
Come on, James.
Look, I'm sorry. Oh. Okay.
Yes.
It's good. At least we got to clarify for all the non-Sapphics that actually listen to our show.
There you go.
I just thought you were like happy that it solidified them as a couple, and I'm just like, yeah, well, we knew that. We've been done new.
No.
We've been done new.
We've been done new that. So, I also, on the topic of Amerlin, when Megan was like, don't cry, you lasted longer than I did, child, and I was a sitter of the Blue Aja, the reason I think Egwene heard is because the look in her eyes says, and I'm the fucking Amerlin Sea. Like, it was so good.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, that's good shit. What else? Since we're talking about Megan, I really am hoping that Rima is saved. I hope she's if not at the end of the season, I hope she is saved early next season, something like that. And as much as I hate to say it, I kind of hope that the character of Pura from the books is who Megan's arc is. Like that's the arc that Megan is following. I hate to say it because I love Megan as a character as well. But I just think it would be such a shame to lose Rima.
Yeah.
You know?
So, interesting thing, a few months ago, Priyanka Bose shared a picture, I think it was in a trailer or in another room or something like that, and there was a bunch of cast picture in the back of the room, and that was cast picture for the third season. And among those cast pictures, there is the actress for Rima.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
So at least we know that she's not dying in this season.
She's not dying in this season, yes.
And among those pictures, I mean, it's probably not the full picture of the cast, but we could not find any sentience that we recognized. So that make me hopeful that she's getting saved with Egwene.
Because I have trouble believing that Nynaeve fuck 'em up Almira after the interactions that she had with Rima in this episode. I have trouble believing that Nynaeve would, if she didn't get the opportunity to do it, that she wouldn't save Rima, especially personally witnessing Rima being collared. Like I have trouble believing that.
There's two ways this can go.
Mm-hmm.
When she's rescuing Egwene
Mm-hmm.
in the kennels, she passes by Rima and doesn't have time to free her, in which case I die.
Mm-hmm.
Or she passes by Rima and saves her, in which case I die.
Yes.
Because Rima still has the collar on.
Mm-hmm.
And that means they're going to have to, use it to take it off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I agree with the Rima thing, and I've seen some comments about, should she be freed? Should she not be freed? And my personal preference is freeing. I think the story would work either way, but my strong preference is freeing because there's a trope in a lot of fantasy that I dislike, which is the sole survivor of the thing. Like, you watch a disaster movie and the main characters live and everyone else just dies, and it gives the main characters a sort of plot armor. It's more realistic in situations like these. Not everyone dies in a disaster. Some people are saved. When you discuss slavery and escaping slavery, people made it out. It wasn't just the main character who makes it out of these things. And it would be realistic to have Rima escape. And it would also sort of take away that chosen one plot armor that some of the, not saying Egwene has plot armor, but you see what I'm saying? It sort of adds to the realism of this thing. Not just our main cast matters, more than just them get out and have endings. And also, we don't have 14 seasons. We have 8 seasons, and we don't have the room for 300 named Aes Sedai. And we don't have that many, I consider the main Ajas red, blue, and green. We don't have that many browns, no grays or whites yet, and not that many yellows. Mm-hmm. We have with Rima a character who's built in with trauma, with a backstory that characters identify with, who can become a Black Aja hunter, and we get her motivations right off the bat. And her being saved wouldn't remove the stakes because she would still be collared, and she would still have to deal with the fallout of her warder's death. She is fucked up even if she's saved. And she has a lot, and she lost a lot, and she will have to go through stuff if she is saved. So I reject the arguments that saving her would reduce the stakes or something. And that's more or less what I had to say about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
There was one thing that I wanted to mention that is not directly related to Rima, but it's more I'm on a Discord server where there's actually a lot of people who have not read the books. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's very fun because you don't interact in a sense. You're just watching them making up theories about the show. And at some point, you get slapped in the face by them talking about, wondering about the purpose of the Adam and whether it was meant for something other than what the Sunshines are using it for. And suddenly you read someone who has not read the books theorizing that it could have been something to combine the power of two Aes Sedai more effectively or without burning someone out.
I love it.
So, sometimes book readers are like, I don't think the show is explaining things well. And then I read things like that and I'm like, I think the show is doing pretty great.
The show is doing pretty good because they gave enough to plant the seeds of what is going to be revealed later about the true nature of Suldam and the Adam and everything like that. They've given enough for people to start putting those pieces together. And I've seen too on Tumblr and people who are show OnlyFans being like, wait a second. So wait, like, what are the mechanics of this thing? How does this work? Like, how is it that, like all of these different things? I'm just like, yes.
And of course, not all the non-reader will get it, but there's always gonna be a few that will get it. And at some point, you just have to trust people to be smart. And even if they don't realize something, they will realize other thing. And yeah, that gives them interest. I do think that the show is doing a very good job about that.
I think so too. Yeah. To leaving enough of a mystery where people get to use their little detective skills, but not info dumping things, because that would be too much.
Right.
But, yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
I do, on the subject of the Shan Shan and that Fall May storyline, do we think we're going to get Thule? That's Egwene's name.
Oh.
I feel like we could.
I feel like we could too.
Because Rena. Fuck. Rena basically say, I don't see any reason why you couldn't keep that name. But that doesn't mean ever.
Yes.
Right. Maybe episode 7 is like, you really hurt me, Egwene. Until you've proved your love for me, you will have a new name. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Which is basically what happened in the books.
It is.
She keeps her name for a bit.
How delicious is it going to be when Egwene is uncollared? I hope that Ren is in the room when Egwene's uncollared. I truly do.
I hope she runs and flees for her life, and then season 5, Rena shows up, sees Egwene, and Egwene just murders her.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Egwene's like, hey, remember the Lanfear and that guy on the horse? Guess what, Rena?
I do also love, so I will talk about this forever. I know we're 1 hour 40 minutes in, but
I know, but we knew.
Nynaeve's block not being an anger block, it makes me so fucking happy.
Yeah,
it is in the it's the fact that she can channel without getting angry. I was until this episode, we didn't know that. Until this episode, we she just didn't have control over it, but we didn't know the key to unlocking it. Changing it from being, I just have to be in Hulk mode to, I need to think about this as a patient. And yes, it's still difficult for me and I can't control it very well, but fuck, such a good change.
And it makes so much sense, because if you go back and look at and think about the moments in season 1 that she had, what is she trying to do in those moments?
Heal.
What is she doing? She's trying to heal, whether it's physically with what happened with Lan and everyone else in the cave, or if it's emotionally where they're being attacked by these discordant voices and everything like that. She's just wanting to heal and protect, and that is what drives her. It's not her anger, it's that she is fiercely protective of the people that she loves. And she wants to be sure that they're safe. And I think that's going to play a role later on in her interactions with Rand, because that's a thing. And with Swan and Logain, and it's just, I love what they're setting up with Nynaeve's motivations and the implications.
And even with what happened with Rima, that doesn't mean that the block is going to be solved very quickly. It just because she's afraid of using it, and now she saw the consequences of not being able to use it properly, but that doesn't mean that reaching to the power is going to come easy.
Yeah, no, it's going to be amazing to watch this character.
I'm so excited.
The only other thing I had was Elaine and Terangrial. I love our little inventive Elaine this season.
Yeah.
I love her so much.
She's a little tinkerer.
I did not expect to enjoy this as much as I did, but I love this little, Elaine's let me investigate.
Yeah. She's so cute. It's so good. It's, I love it. I love the little tidbits that we're getting of her and how that's going to solidify as a fully realized character later on. It's great.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So I have very minor things that left. I just like the note to Turak's rooms of curiosity. I'm wondering whether we'll find anything else interesting in this room of curiosity. Maybe a door. I liked Alana saying what you're willing to do changes depending on what you're faced with, because
every time this woman opens her mouth and says something like that, it makes my heart clench, and it instantly gives me a stress headache because the thing is going to happen. The thing is going to happen. She's going to do the thing.
She's going to do the thing. And I'm going to be very sad about it because I genuinely love Alana. Like,
what if she does the thing and we aren't mad?
That's what I'm afraid of.
Don't put that into the universe, James. Why would you say that?
What if she does the thing and we're like, yeah, I get it. That makes sense.
Christ almighty.
Hashtag Alana did nothing wrong.
I would if it was Yosha.
We also had a mention to Anaya, which is a blue sister that shows up in the books. And I think she's the one who actually talked to Egwene about the dreams for the first time.
I think that's right, yes.
She's the first selector of the Blue Aja.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Wait, who's the first selector?
Anaya.
Before she's killed.
You don't know her, that's fine.
She's not in the episode. She's mentioned one time.
She's just talked about.
She's not a character in the episode.
Matt is like, oh, thank God.
And also, like, this mentions that the Armenian Seed came to Carin with his 14th sister to put a new king on the Carin throne. I'm curious whether that was. Whether that was right after the Yael War, whether it was something else, whether... I feel like at some point they may refer to it since they gave us this, and it's curious.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting.
For sure.
Okay, next.
I'm just curious, speaking of Kyrian, what in the world is going on with Anver and Barthanas? Like, I'm 90% convinced, 98% convinced Anver is a dark friend. I am 0% convinced Barthanas is in on it.
Yeah.
One of them being a dark friend, like 99% sure. Both, I don't think so, and I don't know which one it would be. I really don't. It would be more painful for Moraine if it was Anvir.
Yes, and that's what I want.
Yes.
So, did you folks see Rafe answer to one of the questions and the Ask Me Anything about, like...
No, what was it?
The question was what part of the 6 episodes that we have already seen have you the most excitement or interest in how it will link into future plot lines from the books due to changes in the show? And Rafe answered Anvir. And that's it.
Yes.
I mean, that's good because they should keep using
absolutely
Lindsay Duncan forever.
Yes.
So make it Barthanas.
More Lindsay Duncan. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like curious whether it's going to be...
Ooh.
Whether she's going to be Colavere?
Colavere?
Oh, Colavere. Yeah.
Yeah, Colavere.
Who's Colavere?
No, stop talking, Matt. Anyway, what if they're both dark friends, but only Barthanas is outed?
Oh. Oh. I mean, it would make it hurt more.
More pain.
What if neither are, but Barthanas die?
Barthanas needs to die.
I think, yes.
Barthanas he's either an innocent little cinnamon roll, or he is heinously evil and just hiding it very, very well.
I agree.
Or he is a Muppet getting fisted every day.
Oh, never mind.
All twinks need to die.
He could be Rand's fourth. Rand always needed a man in his harem.
Wouldn't it be fifth?
Let's do math.
Rand's fourth person, the fifth person in the polycule.
Oh, okay.
Like Rand's fourth love interest.
I got it immediately. I'm surprised James and Kat didn't.
Thank you, Camille.
Wow, okay. So, like, you know what? There's 2 ways that gays can't do math. So
the math...
We're bad all around.
The math sapphic got where I was going. So Camille got me. That's all I need.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, maybe you were correct. Maybe.
Let's move on to Kat last points, maybe, so we can finally end this episode.
So let's do this. We can do this. Let's knock this out. All I wanted to say was I'm curious to see how Min's visions are going to be treated going forward. And if I know we've kind of talked about it before, and I think actually Rafe mentioned something in the AMA that he did today. And it said something to the effect of like, the change comes more in how Min interprets the visions and not whether or not they're true. Like not in that, like they're fallible, like not that they're wrong. And so, which is that's what I've been hoping for, that it matters how she interprets it. And so she's seeing, Matt stab Rand, and it's not,
I guess that's true. In the books, it's just, it does come to pass.
Yes.
There's not really interpretation in the books. It's just, this is how she interprets it, and that's like what it is.
That's what it is. But I think the show is just...
I think that's what Rafe said.
Yeah, exactly. It like that's how the show is sort of shifting it, which I like. I appreciate that they're adding that sort of layer to it, because I feel like in the books it's kind of a cop-out, and yeah.
There's indeed a question, an Naxmian question. And Rafe also mentioned that there's actually a deleted scene
Yes.
that explains it a little bit more. So I'm hoping at some point we'll get deleted scenes.
Fingers crossed.
We still don't know what was the Matt scene that we missed and the Elaine scene from that Comic-Con?
The Elaine scene we got was the first encounter she has with Egwene.
Okay, the daughter, like, you can put them right there.
Yeah, and the mass scene was not the first mass scene from the season, like not the one with Leandrine when she's reading him a letter, but the one when she's bringing him the honey cake.
The honey cakes? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I never looked at what those scenes were, so.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, and I'm probably wrong, because I'm not sure if the metaphor works now that I think about it, but Min sees Matt stabbing Rand. Does he stab Rand in the back in the viewing, or does he just stab him?
No, in the front.
No, in the front.
In the side.
Okay.
So it's kind of like what Patton Fane does in the books. Like that wound that doesn't heal in the side.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying, because what if the viewings are infallible, but Min's interpretation is fallible? What if the stabbing was Matt metaphorically stabbing Rand by abandoning him?
It could be.
Wounding him seriously in one of his vulnerable moments, and Min's the cause of this. I don't know. It was a thought. I don't know. It's not a...
I need to see it actually happen, because if it doesn't actually happen and it's a metaphor, I will be slightly mad.
I think it's going to be a definitive moment that happens where it will be obvious that this is what it's about. Yeah.
But also it won't be what Min was expecting.
Exactly.
No, yeah, absolutely not. All right, thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Queers of Time. This is not a Wheel Takes episode, contrary to popular belief and given the length, but thank you so much for listening. You can find us on Discord, which has been super active lately. Also on Patreon, because Patreon helps us make this podcast. And thank you so much to all of our lovely patrons, as well as the 2 new ones that subscribed. You'll get stickers in the mail because I have them in front of me and I found them. 1 hour and 52 minutes prior to editing. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Thank you all for listening. This was Queers of Time, a Wheel of Time podcast. The music is Dance of the Witches by Julius H.